Welcome back to Coffee with the Captain. And today, have you got your coffee? You got to have your coffee to be on the show. Today we're going to be interviewing Penny Zenker. And Penny's a great friend of mine, and she's also a very up-and-coming speaker, coach. She's came out with a program called the P10 Productivity Accelerator. Haven't had coffee yet. Blech. And she's focused around the 10 core drivers that will lead you towards your success. So these were derived from her personal experiences building a multi-million-dollar company as a senior and being a senior executive there, and then selling that. And she's also working, or has worked with Tony Robbins as a business coach, and I know that she's an NLP practitioner amongst other things, but all around a pretty amazing person. So welcome, Penny.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I want to correct you. I have a cappuccino. I'm a coffee snob, and no brewed coffee for me.
Well, I have brandy, so don't if I seem a little goofy.
So if I get like a little milk mustache,
you get a milk mustache. So Penny, I want to dive right into this because I know we don't have a lot of time. But when you say you're a senior executive, tell me a little bit about that business because I've been curious about that. What was that?
Well, the IT business that I started, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Well, I guess that's the beginnings of my productivity drive, is that I've always loved to make things better. And technology was an amazing vehicle, right, to create greater value for your customers, to create greater efficiency in an organization. And so I kind of fell in love with technology, even though I don't have a programming background. I kind of just got into it and started my own business. And I built some products that helped people to be more efficient and effective. And then I built it up and then sold the business. So.
Well, you're a very accomplished person. It's great. I just love that when I'm working with other entrepreneurs and talking to them about their backstory. Because I know, you know as well as I do, the people that are listening that are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. I mean, I've been doing it so long that I'm used to it, but I think for a lot of people that are W-2 employees or have been working in a corporation or that type of thing that want to make that leap, it's not easy, is it?
No, it's not easy. I mean, I went many 24-hour days. I think that I talk about it firsthand. I share one of my stories in the beginning of my keynote is, nobody knew the tug of war with time better than I did back in those days. I was working a lot of 24-hour days and just burning the candle at both ends.
Yes. And that's why you're such a good authority on being productive.
Well, I think I'm a good authority on being productive, partially because of that, but also I'm a single mom with 2 kids, and I run, a business, and I have a relationship. So, like everyone else out there, we have a lot of different things tugging at us, and so
yes.
we have to become masters of our own lives and our own emotions.
And that's ironic because I've talked to 2 ladies in the last, I would say the last 3 days that want to perhaps move away from corporate America and move into the entrepreneurial world, and they have children. Mm-hmm. And one lady's kids are in college, so she's a little apprehensive about doing that, although they have this passion that's just yearning and burning to go become self-employed and do that. But so it's definitely something to consider twice before you do it. There was that whole leap before you look mentality. I know around that 2007, 2008 recession, and I succumbed to that. So it's
right.
Looking back on that, I would really say take a close look at it, but be responsible in that decision as well. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the Productivity Accelerator system. What does that look like?
Well, what's important and kind of what we were talking about with people starting their own business or whatever stage of their business they're at, what the P10 Productivity Accelerator system is geared around is helping people to work smarter, not harder, right? So productivity doesn't mean doing more. It means being smarter and doing the right thing so you can do less.
Yeah.
And so the 10 core drivers that are really the basis of the program help you to think and act more strategically, because so many people, especially, entrepreneurs who are wearing so many different hats, right? The HR hat, the marketing hat, the sales hat, the consultant hat. They need to be able to, they get caught up in the day-to-day, in the urgencies, and they become very reactive. And they even forget why they got into this business, right? They lose that passion that they had. And so the 10 core drivers just help them in 3 levels. It helps them get the psychology that they need in order to be successful, to focus on the right things. It helps them to focus on what are the elements of creating good and sustainable strategies. So sustainability is the third pillar. So it's psychology, strategies, and sustainability.
Yeah, and because of the interruptions we have on a daily basis, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it's getting worse, or either I'm getting worse.
I don't know what you mean. Squirrel!
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but it's getting to the point where it's really difficult to stay focused. And the best thing to do is shut things off, I would imagine, or just lock yourself in a room with a tablet. And but what do you recommend for somebody that's trying to multitask throughout the day? What's your first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, a couple things, and I do have a resource that I'm happy to share. It's a free resource online to help people to get a better understanding of what it is that's distracting them, because that's the key thing, is that, we know that we're distracted, but that's still very high level. So the number one thing I would say is to get clear on what's distracting you. And there's actually 3 different types of distractions. There's, I said earlier, squirrel. There's mental distractions. Those are the biggest ones. They're our own distractions. We distract ourselves, right? There's environmental distractions, right? So the beeping and the buzzings and the people interrupting us, and so forth. And then there's physical distractions that we have. So we need to be aware of what they are. What patterns are we recognizing, so that we can, really identify and then address them, because we're going to start to see then the patterns when we track it. Just like you've heard of food logging, right? For people who want to go on a diet, they log what they eat.
Oh yeah.
They log how many glasses of water they have, etc. Because we think we know, but we really don't. We get a greater level of awareness when we really track it and say, okay, here's really what's going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would say
that would be a handy thing to have, but if you're like me, though, it's really hard. Me personally, I've tried to do the time calendar, the time blocking, and I just suck at it. I'll be honest with you. It's like I'll get going on, I'll be doing really good. I've got all about the colors, right? I've got all these different colors. Right. And then pretty soon it's like, where'd my sheet go? Oh.
Well, the thing is, with that's a mental distraction, right? In the context of, we think that we should get immediate results out of things. We're very much a McDonald's drive-through society, right? A drive-through society. Give it to me to go. I'll take it in the bag, and then it'll be mine.
Yeah.
And we have to create an acclimation period for that implementation, and we have to be patient with ourselves and not bite off more than we can chew. That's a tendency, is people say, oh, they take it all on, and then of course it's too much, and then they throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, this doesn't work. So I actually broke my time blocking system into 7 stages, and I do encourage people to do things more slowly, to add 1 block in. Just block 1. What's the biggest thing that you need to start doing or stop doing, and block that, and then work from there, right? Build up.
Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest in that context. And I break it down into 7 steps, so that also you understand, if you broke it out, how do you get your tasks and your goals aligned? Because sometimes people are blocking, but they're still reactive. And so how do you get more proactive?
That sounds really interesting, and I know I'm going to take you up on that offer of the assessment, and I'm working towards that. I've got 3 businesses, and ironically enough, 2 of them have been kind of laying still, and now they're starting to bubble up, and all of a sudden I had all these other things going with the other business, so it's almost like they're monsters in a way. They come at you, and you got like, whoa, and start
Nice
juggling
language.
that stuff. So I start getting really stressed out. And when I'm really getting stressed out, what's the best thing I can do when I'm sitting at my desk?
Breathe. What's the first thing that we do when we're stressed out is we stop breathing.
Right? Yes. And then I know that you and I just went to this event with Tony Robbins and mentioned or saw you there.
That's right.
And what is the best? Shake your ass. And for the people that don't know what I'm talking about, explain what that's all about, because there's a guy named Joseph McClendon that brought that up at that event.
That's right.
And I know you're big on that. So why don't you explain what's good about that?
I'm big on that, and because I wrote a blog right after the event, and now I'm trending on the second page of Google for Shake That Ass. But, it's because, Tony Robbins talks about this all the time in terms of your physiology, changing your physiology is the easiest and quickest way to get out of that overwhelmed type of state. So if you're sitting in your chair, right, that's the overwhelmed chair. Get out of that chair, stand up, and, Joseph tells you to shake your ass, because when you're shaking that booty, you're moving your whole body. When you're moving your body, you're sending those hormones, those positive hormones to your brain that are giving you a better feeling, little jazz.
Right.
Like, how can you do that? How can you do that and not smile, right? And then positive psychology says that this sends all these different, one smile, and it sends all those hormones to your brain telling you you're happy, you're happy, you're happy.
Yep. It's pretty amazing to see 10,500 people doing that at the same time as well.
Totally.
And then the breathing exercises and all that stuff. Very, very, very good time. I used to think a desk was basically for just holding my head up when I was crying. Because I was in the mortgage business, and I'd work till 11 o'clock at night, man. And I'll tell you, I take my hat off to those people that are still in that business, because it's got more complicated. But any office job, when you're sitting around and you're trying to be productive and you're being bombarded, I mean, God bless them, right? I mean, it's a tough deal. I mean, equally so for entrepreneurs, it's tough as well. But
pick your poison,
pick
right?
your poison.
I mean, at the end of the
we've
day,
all got it. And stress, you told me that stress has become an epidemic according to the CWD or CWC.
The World Health Organization, has declared stress a worldwide epidemic. So it's a problem. We need to learn how to cope, and that's why I created this program, is because these 10 core drivers will help you to get out of stress, what I call procrastination and perfectionism, that over functioning and under functioning, and help you get back into what I call the productivity zone.
And tell me about your book.
Oh, I just happen to have a copy here.
Oh my gosh, what a miracle.
Huh. It's called the Productivity Zone.
Who would have thought?
Stop the tug of war with time. So it's it's really around what I just mentioned, is how do we get more days and more hours that are in the zone where we feel like things are just flowing and working for us, versus those days where we feel like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Where you feel like, ugh. So we want to have more good days, more days in the flow. And by focusing on these 10 core drivers and those 3 segments, that's going to help us to do that and get out of stress, transform the stress. Good.
And where can they find your book?
They can find it on my website, www.p10app.com.
Okay, and that's showing up right below you right now, because I just put that on there magically as you were talking.
How cool is that?
I know. I do all kinds of stuff like that. It's amazing. And you think I'm just a captain.
You are the captain, right?
I'm the captain.
I mean, it's clear. Captain, oh captain. I wish I knew that whole poem. It's a powerful poem. Robert Frost, I think, right?
Exactly. I don't know a darn thing about it, actually. So yeah, why don't you find out and tell me about it? I saw a great quote this morning. It said, "Don't sail the boat of your mind. Don't sail in the boat of your mind." I just love that, because being a captain and sailing, or being at sea so much, don't sail in the boat of your mind. And what that means is getting out of your head and getting more in touch with in here, right?
Right.
Sometimes that's a good thing to do as well, is to get away from the desk, get away from the office for a minute. And I teach that with the emotional intelligence training I do. But get out of that boat in your mind, sailing across that sea. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I love ocean metaphors. I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, it's a great quote. It's a great quote.
So what's coming up for you next year?
So I'm super excited about, around these 10 core drivers, I have an assessment, a productivity assessment, kind of like a personality assessment that you might find out where your strengths and weaknesses are in your personality and how you interact with others. This is a productivity assessment that gives you strengths and weaknesses around your productivity profile and identifies the gaps and helps you to take actions to close those gaps. And it also has a great follow-up piece so that you don't just take it once, you can take it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever fits for your, individual accountability to keep you coming back and focused on those 10 core drivers that keep you, thinking and acting more strategically.
Okay. And you said that you were doing some type of is it a fundraiser or you're going to contribute something?
Yeah. So thanks for reminding me. And we've talked in different contexts, so I don't remember what I just said 5 minutes ago. So I'm looking to get 250,000 people by this time next year on the platform, and I'm really gung-ho about it because I want to make a major contribution to a company called Heart of a Fighter, which is for women veterans that are transitioning from military duty to civilian life. And the women, there's not as many programs that are special for women because women have different needs coming out of the military, different challenges. And I'm super excited. I'm president of the board of that company, and it's a wonderful non-for-profit that's really there to, it's my way to give back because I feel like every time I see a soldier, I'm so proud and I'm so grateful because even though I or no one in my family has been in the military, they have made such a sacrifice for me and my family. So I feel like this is a great way for me to give back and to create programs that are going to support them.
Yeah, that's a great cause, and I'd like to put a link to that on my website if we can manage that. So
absolutely,
that'd be awesome because I have talked to a lot of wounded warriors, and I've talked to at Camp Pendleton. I did a talk down there. And I've seen some of the damage that has happened to these individuals that have went over and just really believe so strongly in protecting this country. And I think we all, at some level, take it for granted, especially in the airports when you're walking through the airport. Anybody listening to this, you see somebody wearing a uniform, go shake their hand and just tell them thanks, because how many times you go through an airport and you see these lonely souls walking through the airport and people are just like, just doing their thing, waiting for their plane.
Right.
But yeah, I always make a point to go shake their hand. It's just really, I think we owe that to them.
Absolutely.
A big thank you. So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about it.
So how's that work then?
You're that answer.
You're shaking it. So you're going to contribute $1, is that right, for every?
A minimum of $1.
Minimum
it depends.
Of $1.
A percentage of the profit. So it depends on, how much I'm able to raise. The more I'm able to raise, the bigger the percentage that I'm going to donate. So a minimum of $1. So it'll be a minimum of $250,000 that I'll be throwing their way. But cool. I'd like to donate more. So it really depends on how easy or difficult it is to get the word out.
Well, what's the best way for somebody to do that if they want to sign up for that or donate?
Well, they can donate directly, and I wasn't prepared with the link for that, but I will send that to you, and then you can...
It'll magically appear right where you're at.
It'll magically appear.
Just point down like this.
Exactly. It's right there.
Yeah, there you go. It's just
and you
magic.
could also go directly to heartofafighter.org,
okay.
And there is a donate button on there.
Cool.
And there's also, you can go to my website and buy the assessment, because the advantage to you as an individual, whoever's listening to this, is that you get something as well, right? You get to look at, what are the 10 core drivers? What can you learn about yourself? So even if you just get the one time, it's only $27. And, if you wanted to go on an ongoing basis and get a little bit more accountability, that's only $27 a month. So It's really affordable. And as I said, I'm super excited about the big donation that's going to go to Heart of a Fighter.
Yeah. Well, that's really great. And I'm sure everybody on here thinks it is as well. So
click below to get your copy.
It just showed up again. It's just so cool how that works. You're like bewitched. Yeah. Well, listen, it's been great talking to you. I know you're busy, and so am I. So have a great day, and thank you so much. And everybody get that book. And remember one thing. Shake
that
ass. And just go pound or go hashtag shake that ass, and you're going to probably go right to Penny. All right. Have a great day, Penny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.